Just underway here. The winner of this game advances to the playoffs. The loser has the unenviable position of playing the maximum amount of games you can play without qualifying for the playoffs. As I mentioned, these guys played earlier in the event. It was a very, very tight game. Koe made a couple haymakers in the fifth to actually save the game for his team. Jacobson trailed by 2, playing 8. They picked up their deuce, but Kevin was able to score 2 in the extra end and win. But nevertheless, a very, very tight battle. So just join the game in the first end here, obviously. I'm trying to count the stones to see who has the hammer. Based on rock position, Jacobson and that little hammer beside their name. So that's a giveaway. A lot of rocks in play right off the bat here. Just rubbed to redirect as it came into the ring. Still ends up in a pretty good spot there for John. Team Jacobson got to this point. They started with a loss to Matsumiura of Japan, who's actually on the ice right now playing Dunstone. The winner of that game will advance to the playoffs as well, so I'll keep you updated. They then beat Brundridge before losing to Koe. They came back with a win against Cars and then a big upset, knocking off the defending Canadian champion Team Botcher to earn their way to this C-Qualifier. Koe alternated wins and losses, beating Kleider, losing to Tardy, beating Jacobson, losing to Dunstone. And then today they've already won 2 games, defeating Meacham and Kim. Kim game was a bit of a blowout, gives the guys a chance to rest a little bit, regroup, and get ready for tonight. Good position early for Team Jacobson, lying 3, mostly buried behind the center guard. Team Koe is going to go with the run back here. It's a great shot. Spilled a lot of stones. Touched every rock in the rings, actually. Leaves Team Jacobson lying 1 behind the center. It's amazing how buried that is, despite all the rocks that moved. Team Koe would be happy with that shot. Second stone for Team Jacobson is Jake Hersecorn. They have Daryl McKee sparing at lead. He's a reigning Canadian senior champion. Their third is Dustin Kaltoff, and their skip, Jason Jacobson. For Team Koe, the familiar lineup of Ben Hebert at lead, John Morris at second, BJ Neufeld at third, and Kevin Koe at skip. This is BJ's first rock of the first end. He'll be looking to cross the face here with his out turn. Getting Benny to try to carve this one over a bit. Rolls to a very good spot. That'll shrink the scoring area, which we talk about a lot. So much play is in the 4-foot area now. So if you don't have the hammer, you want to shrink that scoring zone for the opposition. Good start there for BJ. First rock here for Dustin. Dustin's a 2015 provincial finalist. They lost the finals that year to Steve Laycock. Steve had quite a run for most of the decade, last decade. I think he went to the Brier minimum 5-6 times. Now plays out of BC with Jim Cotter. He actually skipped these guys, Steve did, in their only event of the season so far. They went 4 wins and 1 loss in Saskatoon, lost the semifinals. Koe's also only played the 1 event this year. They played in the ATB Financial Okotoks Curling Classic, picked up the win there. But their season really picks up now. After this week, they go to Penticton, BC, one of the bigger events on tour, followed by the first Grand Slam in Oakville, the Masters. 1 week off, and then the National being played in Ben's hometown, Chestermere, Alberta. And then 2 weeks off to prepare to defend the Roar of the Rings crown that they won in 2017, which earned their way to the 2018 Olympics for Kevin and Ben. John was also in that Olympics, picking up a gold medal in mixed doubles. BJ lost the final of that Roar of the Rings to Team Koe, throwing third stones from Mike McEwen. Working hard to get this by the yellow guard, just squeaked it by. Pretty good shot. Again, very aggressive, both teams in the first end. This Jacobson team is obviously playing very well to get all the way to the C-Qualifier here and defeat the likes of Botcher, who's one of the best teams in the world. They were 1 up coming home. They stole the 8th end to secure the victory. Dustin's going to come down and have a brief little chat with Jason. Teams that have already qualified for the playoffs through the A side: Team Jacobs, Team Hartung, Team Tardy. Through the B, Sturmey of Alberta, Flash, and Team Simmons. And like I said, in the C qualifier, winner of this game advances, and Matsumura of Japan taking on Dunstone of Regina. Looking to play the double here, double out the 2 yellows. Be real tough to make this. In fact, I don't think it's possible to make it without touching your back red that's on the button. Can't quite hear anything the players are saying right now, so I don't have a lot of input from them. The games will be live streamed from BC. I believe the feed will be provided by curling.com. But I will be doing the commentary for all of Team Koe's games. So we'll be using the curling.com feed. They're a new live streaming service for curling. They have an excellent product. I just heard from our tech team. We're going to switch our audio over next end, so I'll have a better opportunity to listen in to what the guys are saying. It's hard doing the commentary by yourself. You have no one else to talk to, so it's good to be able to listen to the players, but I can't really do that yet. But we'll have that sorted out for next end. This is a different feed than we've been using the last few games. I think with the ice Kevin's taking, it's probably a hack waiter, and he'll probably try to cross the face, roll onto his own yellow would be the play. So first rock here in the first end, C-Qualifier for Kevin Koe. In-turn tap. Scrubbing to get by the guard. Now Ben will carve it. Perfect stone. Good start. I just watched the end of Team Epping defeating Team Fleming. They've qualified. I'm going to play Jason Gunlitzen tomorrow in the Oakville event. Huge game on in Calgary right now in the ladies in the C-Qualifier. Jennifer Jones taking on Rachel Holman. The winner advances. The loser goes home. That's a tough C bracket right there. There's no great play on the rocks and the rings right now for Jacobson, so they're going to look to draw. They might even be guarding this situation here where Kevin could throw red onto yellow onto red. Or they could be drawing around the works as well. They're taking a ton of ice. Problem when you go out this wide, I don't care. There's always a little bit of guesswork. Nobody threw one out this wide in practice. You're going to be in fresh pebble. It's hard to know for sure how the rock's going to react. So you have to take your best guess, commit to it, and go from there. Jason is a 2009 Saskatchewan mixed champion. He actually played second for Daryl McKee, who's sparing for them in this event at lead. Picked up a bronze medal at the Canadians. Doing their best to drag this around the works. That's an excellent shot to the first end. Did not quite get there for second. That's the good news. The bad news is enough of that rock is showing that Kevin play a little slash double here with his out turn. It's very thin, but if he can kill both reds, he'll lie two. That was the initial call anyway. You have to hit these thinner than it looks because when you first hit the stone, you're actually driving it back a bit. If you had to pick anybody in the world to make this shot, I think you've got the right guy throwing it right now. Brad Jacobs has a very pure out-turn heater as well. Kevin, probably the best in the world at this shot. Hit it a hair too thick. Missed the back. So an opportunity here to put a 2 on the board in the first end for Team Jacobson. Same thing. They're going to the opposite side now. This is a closer path to what they would have used in the draw to the button to determine the hammer. Probably just a little wider than what they would have had for that, but fairly close. Unfortunate miss for Kevin because it doesn't really change the shot. Jason would still be throwing the same shot, only instead of it being 4-2, it would be against 2. Boys are jumped on this right out of his hands. Haven't even stopped to look up yet. Still going, but short. It's a tough draw in the first. He'll be happy to get his single, but a missed opportunity there for Team Jacobson. We'll be back on Koe-Tube from Swift Current right after this commercial break.
Roll it in behind our yellow.
Kind of seeing the intern with normal.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Anyway, you like rolling this way at all or no? I just think you got a lot more to roll behind over here.
then if he doesn't get them both, we're going back in.
Okay. Normal.
To normal.
Just had to switch the feed over. We're back live on Koe-Tube. C-Qualifier. Loser goes home. The winner advances to the playoffs. Team Jacobson with the single in the first. Opportunity for two. Came up just short on the draw. Great start to the second end now for Team Koe.
Yeah, just
Lying one behind the corner. Half buried behind the short little red one.
yeah, he's trying to roll behind the yellow.
Great work by our tech team. I now have access to the guys' microphones. How about the job they've done this weekend? This is the 7th game for Team Koe. We've been live for all of them. They do great work. It's mostly a one-man crew. Mr. Wu running the show here for Koe-Tube. Does things I would have no idea what to do. My job's easy. I just get to talk. Just squeak past the guard there. And rolls perfectly buried. That's a great stone. Jake Hersecorn.
Like this, I guess.
His brother normally plays on the team. Couldn't play this weekend, so they picked up Daryl McKee to spare.
Or you can play it this way too, whatever.
We see a lot of this out of John. Run backs and double peels. Just missed that one. That's okay. It opens up the back. Now they have a control stone right on the center line, fairly tight to the rings they'll be able to use. Trying to decide to do a Dustin's first stone here. Dustin represented Canada in the World Mixed Doubles with Marlies Kasner. Finished 5th place. Lost the quarterfinals to Bruce Mouet, who is actually the reigning World Mixed Doubles champion. He had a heck of a run at the end of last year, Bruce did. Lost the world final in the bubble, won both of the Grand Slams in the bubble, and then picked up a world title in the mixed doubles. He's a great player, still very young. That was a good shot. Interesting call. Could have gone around the center. The reason he didn't is because it leaves such a short run back for BJ. So they decided to play the angle raise. They made it.
Oh, you want to just make this now?
They left Cooey's Rock in a pretty good spot for a short run back for them.
He said normal, right? Normal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little high.
Normal weight hit here for BJ. Trying to angle the yellow. They want to plant it right behind that red guard as possible as well.
Clean. Clean. Whoa. Yeah, clean. Yep.
BJ picked up 7 Grand Slam titles in his time with Team McEwen.
Hard, you gotta go. You gotta go to shoot it. Go, 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 go.
Unable to get that one out of the rings. Just over curled.
Shouldn't have said anything, I guess.
Now that it is their center, they're electing to go around, draw around with the intern, with Dustin.
Probably threw it good. Just need, yeah. I mean, probably minimum ice.
Room. Line's good. Line's good.
Prior to this event, the two teams have played each other twice.
He's fine. He's hard. Okay, line's really good.
Jacobson actually beat Koe at the Point Optical one year. Kevin got his revenge in Red Deer. Really nice touch there. Well swept by the guys. Get that in there buried. Going to give BJ another crack at the out-turn run back. Just letting Darlene know this game is live.
Done. Hard, hard, hard. Yeah,
Hard,
no,
hard,
no,
man.
no, 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 no,
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Great line call there. They weren't going to plant it right behind the red guard. Kevin called the audible. Able to redirect that stone almost underneath their red, but it's real tricky to deal, or yellow. It's real tricky for them to deal with right now.
Yeah, first one I thought I
This game is live. It's the final game of qualifying. The playoffs are tomorrow. There's a quarterfinal at 9 a.m. Semifinals are at 1 p.m. Finals are at 5 p.m. All of those are local time.
I felt the sheet full. A double and roll here. If he sticks, I think we're freezing it.
Solid control. If we roll out, we roll out. But if I make something good here, he's going to roll out.
Yeah, I'm saying if he sticks it, the double won't be there.
It is, yeah. So
Like it's a little bit.
You heard them say they're going to throw solid weight at this. They're out in the weeds a little bit, so they want to keep their weight up. If he rolls out of the rings, that's okay. Kevin will have a choice to go around the guard or hit the back one. That almost got away from him a little bit.
Nose and hack is good.
That curl.
No harm now.
His really swooped in there.
Rolled to a good spot.
His will curl more than mine.
Kevin will be throwing at least hack weight. That rock curled quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hope everyone enjoyed their Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking board. I mean,
Didn't eat too much so you can stay awake for tonight's game.
That's good. That's good ice for board.
If it goes like our last few, we'll be pushing probably 12:30 by the time this is done if it goes the distance. First rock for Kevin Koe in the second end, trailing 1-0. In turn, hack waiter. BJ's jumped on it early.
whoa.
Now they'll get Ben to carve it past the guard here.
Hard, hard.
Good shot. Same throw here for Jason down the same path. Be a hair quicker. Pebble's broken down a little bit now as well because this is the third straight rock down this path. Make a small adjustment for that. Jason has made 5 provincial finals, 5 opportunities to go to LeBrier. Came up short every time. That's got to be a bit heartbreaking. Still young enough. He's got lots of curling left in him, though, so he'll have more opportunities.
Curl, 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 curl.
And they roll out, so the easy blank end. I could throw this one for Kevin with no problems. I think all of us could.
2 rocks took all the curl out of that spot.
It's been quite a few rocks in play through 2 ends for it being a 1-0 score. So when we get back for the 3rd end, it'll be Team Koe with the hammer, trailing Team Jacobson 1-0. We are live on Koe-Tube from Swift Currents. The IG Wealth Management Western Showdown will be quick break in the action there, brought to you by Wild Rose. 1997, they were established. They're Western Canada's first choice for pumping and compression. They've been a sponsor of Kevin and Ben for 16 years. For those just joining, this is the C-Qualifier. The winner advances to the quarterfinals. The loser is out. I have never seen this before. Benny sweeping his own rock. I'm going to bust his chops on this when I see him. Generally frowned upon to sweep your own stones, but they're short one sweeper now, so maybe I'll give him a pass. If they win, I'll bust his chops. If they lose, I'll just leave it alone. Guard ends up in a real nice spot there. Daryl McKee will look to play the out-turn draw round into the 4-foot. As we mentioned, he's a reigning Canadian senior champion. He's done a lot of curling out of Saskatchewan with Bruce Cordy, one of the great gentlemen of the game. 3-time Saskatchewan provincial champion in the men's. May have pulled the string on this one, though. Good job by the guys to stop sweeping that one. If they keep sweeping and they bump their rock onto the rings, Kevin would be able to play it. You're better off being short.
Okay, copy, Benny. Don't really want to be much.
Johnny's back, so Ben doesn't have to sweep his own this time. He's playing the out-turn draw around his own corner.
Lean. Room. Whoa.
The thing I like about this strategy, as opposed to drawing around the center, is Ben gets to throw the same shot over and over down the same path. So he knows just to throw it that much harder on his second one. Easy adjustment at this level. And there's a perfect draw from Ben. Used to be a draw around those guards, but that's not the case anymore when you watch Team Koe. Even if the team had a center guard and one right on the 4-foot, Kevin would still have Ben draw around his own corner there.
There's a little bit of that slowdown coming into the house.
It's a good lesson if you're watching. Keeps the front, less clutter in the front. You don't want clutter when you have the hammer, clutter around the center line. And if you're going to throw a corner guard, why not use it? So I like that strategy. I'm going to start using that in my Thursday night league. The only problem is we don't make any shots.
Roll line, a lot of room.
A little heavy. Yeah, just make sure the double and roll a bit.
That's fine.
Don't throw much.
Nice draw there from Jake. Jake's a 2015 Canadian junior runner-up. Lost the national championship final to Calvert from Manitoba. Jake picked up 4 provincial junior championships out of Saskatchewan.
Yes. Yes. Yep. Right behind us. Yep. Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, 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 no. Good. Shot, man.
Good shot there by John. Cleared the front off. That yellow is certainly guarded now.
Want to play this over the top of this?
This is the third game of the day for both of these teams.
Yeah. What do you think?
Purity.
Set. Set. Set.
What?
Oh, like that.
Easier angle is certainly to use the shorter of the two guards. You might even roll to guard your own rock that's in the forefoot.
The good thing about this, we're going around the corner, probably.
3/4 is good.
Yeah.
If they make this and roll for guard perfectly, you'll see Kevin play the run back. If they just rip it out and sort of lose the shooter, Koe will be able to draw around that guard again. It's a good point online from Diane. Doesn't appear to be as cold today in the arena. Kevin had been featuring his hoodie for a few games yesterday. After a brief discussion, they decided to play the short little run back. Like to hit about 3/4 of a stone fairly firm. You might be able to roll the shooter to the center line.
Hard. Hard.
Wow,
Oh, no. Oh, my God.
that wasn't close.
You just leave it alone. Well, it took the
And
guard.
it could be a burnt rock situation.
Did you guys see what's going to happen? I think our
I think you just leave it how it was.
way over there, but or out, but then you
He ticked the guard.
Yeah, what happened? They ticked it off the top as the red redirected. The sweeper, Dustin, just touched the red rock before it hit the yellow. I think I'd probably just leave it. It's very hard to determine where it would have went. Obviously, it was an accident by Dustin. They declared that they burnt it. And they're just going to leave it. I like that.
We're freezing this?
Papa Koe has now joined us after a Thanksgiving feast.
On the D-line.
So intern freeze here. They could hit this stone. They're going to play a little more aggressive. The advantage of playing the freeze, you know you're going to keep your rock in play as opposed to hitting and rolling out, although that's usually not a concern when it's John Morris throwing the rock.
Bit of room, no, bit of room if anything. No, line's good. Room. Benny's if you got him. Benny, yep.
Real close for weight. Maybe left it too long, actually. I don't know if that just died on them or what. Opportunity for Dustin to hit and roll lie two. Want to roll away to the wings, try to get some separation between the two reds.
He was going to rub that, and it might have come back and got ours. Whoa! Clean! Clean! Yep! Yep! Hard! Yep.
Made the hit, left a double though.
behind. You're half a rock behind this. I think you just make this. Firm.
Firm weight with the out turn here. Rock's deep enough into the 8-foot that they won't set up a double if BJ executes this. Looks like he might have popped it back on release. John's trying to carve it.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Okay.
Big playing opportunity.
So Dustin has the open hit. Can't really roll too far. He jam onto his own. Probably just playing the nose here.
I don't mind it either, even if he just rolls towards the fourth side of the court. Yeah,
Yep. 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 Yep.
Good shot. Rolled back towards the center. Same double here for BJ now. I can answer you, Wendy, that Carrie Galusha has qualified for the playoffs in Oakville. She got through the A side. She hasn't curled for about 2 days. Playoffs start tomorrow. Outturn double here. Second crack at it for BJ as his nose nearly touches the rock handle.
Whoa. Whoa.
Ben.
Benny. Whoa. Ben. Hard curl. Curl.
Better result for BJ that time. Nice clean throw. Makes the double. I'm doing this from Toronto. For people who don't know, I sit in my living room. I watch the game on my phone,
a lot of the back.
talk into my phone. That's how we do the commentary. But I think that looks low enough that there is no double. Could Jason will be looking to hit and roll behind the two yellow ones. Get lost in there.
What was going to happen for sure.
Not throwing a lot of weight with the amount of ice he's taking.
Well, I don't know, isn't it the non-offending team what you do? But how do you figure what was possible?
No, clean. Yep. What the hell?
Looks like a nose hit.
Well, you're trying to roll, so if you can
Yeah.
further over.
Looks like almost just a nose
Right?
hit.
White.
Well, he's going to have a roll no matter where you go.
You guys want to try it?
Actually rolled the opposite way of what he was hoping. That rock really curled on him.
No matter where we. No. Yeah. He's always going to have a roll, but it's a hard one. Control.
Kevin just asking his team if they want to take the risk of trying to roll in behind the corner themselves, set up a 3-ender.
Knows it, make him have to make the hard shots as opposed to us be just off and then. But I'm okay with playing the roll. Trying to roll.
I'm with BJ. I would just play the nose hit, but that's because I'm not good enough to make the roll.
Or else we're just daring him into.
Okay, sure.
I mean, he can make a roll from wherever I roll
Yeah.
to, right? So
Yeah, I'm in.
I just might.
What kind of weight?
Oh yeah.
The ice they're taking looks like they're probably going for the roll, though they're not taking any ice whatsoever.
Control weight.
Whoa. A little wide. Close. Whoa. Whoa. No. Whoa. Sit.
Wow, what a shot. Absolute perfect roll. I mean, you could see maybe a piece tucking out.
Shot, Kev.
Just a great shot.
Well, he can.
But better than if it's dead buried.
Better than if he rolls to there. Like, yeah. It's a good shot.
Okay, yeah. What's that? Yeah, I can see more of that.
Bit of a mess here for Team Jacobson. They've got the run back. They could play just to sort of peel out the back one. Those are really the two options. I don't love the wide out turn draw. Not wide out turn draw, but the out turn draw around everything. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think they'd be happy to get rid of that back one. Go to the fourth end with the hammer down one. We saw last end when they got out this wide, there was quite a bit of curl. That was on the opposite side of the sheet, though. Thinking he's probably throwing around board weights. Final stone here in the second end, third end actually, my bad. Looking just to kill the yellow rock. Give Kevin 2. Carve that over nice. That's a good shot. That's the best he could do. So now Kevin will have his out turn draw to the rings to take the lead here.
All right, same as draw the button is good. Well, we were heavy there.
What's that?
Same as draw the button's good.
We could have stuck it for shot. No, you couldn't have.
The 15 seconds.
Huge 3-ender for Matt Dunstone to get started in their C-Qualifier. Then he forced Matsumura to a single, playing the third end with the hammer up 3-1. BJ just giving Kevin the weight. Feels it's the exact same that they threw in practice for the draw to the button. Just need paint here. An easy shot for Kevin. So at the end of 3 in this C final, Team Koe takes a 2-1 lead over Jacobson. We'll be back for the fourth end on Koe-Tube after this commercial break.
It took us lots of hard work. It took us lots of determination. We're in the gym a lot. We're even in our off season we're working real hard, and we're on the ice throwing tons of stones. Kind of like when you guys are harvesting. That's hard work, isn't it?
Okay, well.
Any more questions about Denton?
You guys get paid for picking rocks, we do.
If we pick the right ones, we get paid.
Yeah.
Do you use a hammer to put in your fence posts?
When do we use a hammer, Koe?
So the hammer is when you have last rock in an end. So you like to use it to put the peg in the other team. Really,
That's right.
kind
Carry 'em.
kill him.
Time to score points. You want to score lots of points.
Lots of
Yeah.
points with the hammer. Finish off the opponent.
Throw the hammer down.
That's right. Bury them.
Do you guys chop the ice for the water hole?
When Ben gets upset every once in a while, he chops the ice.
Yeah.
Kevin misses shots and makes me mad. Sometimes I chop the ice and I poke holes in it. And then I have to pay the ice makers money because I get fined. That's the only time I've really chopped ice.
Back live on Koe-Tube. Thank you to UFA for that commercial break. Established in 1909, they were one of Canada's longest running and largest and most dynamic co-ops. Kim and Darla have been with the team all 8 years that Ben and Kevin have played together. Benny threw a center just off the center line. Nice corner guard there from Daryl.
Pass that one.
Ben's guard was better situated. They probably draw around right to the 4-foot, but it's not. So Kevin's going to have Ben throw one just short and beside his rock. You don't really want to bury any of this stone, I don't think. Like it to be usable, to be tapped or used in a run back situation.
Line good. Doesn't need a curl. It's all weight.
It's a good spot. Still would have liked to seen that curl a little more.
Shot, Ben.
Visually, it's sort of a little in your eye here when you're playing this out-turn come around, but Daryl's a veteran. He won't pay any attention to it.
Yep. Wait there. It's gonna have to go, probably.
He's got this one there all on his own. Slides just behind the tee line. Perfectly buried, though.
First thought was the freeze. I don't even hate the run either.
Go here. T-line.
See that way, John.
Have John play the freeze here. Follow Daryl down. Like most draw shots, just can't be heavy here.
Just for line, small bump.
Rather be short in the hole than bounce off of this.
Real small bump.
Yeah, that's good. You can see that spot sliding pretty nice. Both draws, the sweepers were not really involved. Dunstone now leads Matsamira 5-1 after 3. Huge start for Team Dunstone.
2/3, 3/4 high. Tap it back, foot.
Jake Herseycorn looking to just play back ring weight here. Try to tap the rock that John just threw on the high side, but he's going to tap the wrong yellow one. That rock really got away from him.
What do you got of this?
2/3. Did a good half for sure.
Taking this.
Good a chance to get aggressive here for Team Koe. Big mistake there by Jake. Like to have that one back. Opportunity now for John to draw around everything into the 4-foot, lost behind 2 centers.
I would say no left. Like the weight.
Line's good.
Just for line.
Line's good.
T line.
Line's great. Clean.
T line.
Yep. Hard then.
Just for line. We're a little heavy. Little heavy.
Well then. Root. Clean. Whoa.
T line.
Just for weight. Just for weight.
Okay, you can
In
go
front
now.
of the T. Hard. 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 Hard.
Shot.
Good draw there by John. Kept it in front of the tee, mostly buried. I like this call. You're in some serious trouble. Go up, run the guard back. Good shot here by Jake. He could clear all 3 yellows.
Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Wow. Unlucky. That's a pretty good throw. Kevin probably put the guard back up, I would think.
Outturns a little bit.
They want to guard the rock in the 12-foot mostly. They don't want Jacobson to have a play on that one. The path to the rock on the 4 is already partially blocked by the rock that Jake just threw.
Easy. Clean. Clean. Yep.
Line's
Go.
good. Line's
Go.
fine.
Got it. Okay. It's got
Line's
a curl.
really good.
Got a curl. Yep. Yep. Gotta go.
Line's okay.
Whoa. 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 No. 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 No.
Good shot. Update from Calgary. 2 huge women's games going on. C-Qualifiers. Holman and Jones tied at 2. Jennifer has the hammer. Fleury and Anderson scoreless after 3. 3 blank ends to start that one. Tracy Fleury with the hammer. Those are the 4 best teams in Canada. End up playing each other in elimination games. That's just the way curling goes sometimes. That was a much better attempt. Little unlucky to stuff it and then roll the other shooter over. The older yellow rock now completely guards second shot.
Intern's probably the play.
Be interested to see what the lineup is on these top reds. Are they lined up to go back onto that yellow?
I think you just. He's gonna have both ways. You just want to be tight.
Yeah.
I don't see much else. Nice and tight.
Kevin recognizes that. That's the reason he's calling this tight. Can not only block the path to the rock, he can cut off that double red raise if it is indeed there. I think it's early in the end to worry about it, even though it's third stones. They wouldn't play that until skip rocks.
Line's good. It's gotta stop. Gotta stop. No, John.
See if we can get a better look at this. No.
Better to show him this side, I think. Good.
Over curl the hair, but ends up in a pretty good spot for BJ.
I thought that was minimum ice for tights.
Yeah, I wasn't all the way up to that, but you know what? I didn't want to leave him this kind of dip quarter and bouncing all this stuff.
Run back opportunity here again for Dustin.
Yeah.
Came very close on his first one.
Yep. Hard. Hard. Yep. Oh, no.
Just got that one going a bit. Was always low. Still think Kevin probably has to replace the guard again.
You'd love to put it in the spot.
Yeah, just anything light is no good. I mean, there is some serious slides going on here. Like, if he's playing this, probably a change. But I think we still guard, don't we? Trailing line is 3 feet to the left of his slider. I don't know what was. So he's a little tight and he held it. What do you think of there?
I think he can just go off of what he threw. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can just totally go off what you just threw on this draw coming this way, Kevin.
Gonna throw the guard back. You want this tight to the rings, just like BJ's. Good opportunity to potentially steal here for Koe. Love to have a 2-point lead and score in the even ends.
Tight.
Top 12. Line's okay. Line's okay. No.
Need this to stop.
No. Right off.
And it does. Well judged by the sweepers there. Probably over curl the hair though. Let's see at least half of that back one, I would think.
I think he's playing this role.
If we have it, we better play it.
Well, type of shots you got to make to beat us. I mean, there's no.
I think he's got to make a play on the back one here. I don't think you can afford just to peel the guard. If you do, you better make sure you get that one off the 4-foot. Because you're not going to have a way in on your next one. I can promise you that. It's not an easy shot, but I think he has to take it on. Out turn, hacker board waits. If he makes it perfect, he can roll in behind his staggered guards. All of a sudden, instead of looking at a steal, he's looking at a deuce.
Great result. You make it. I mean, he can make this where it just plops into the hole too. Like, it's, I mean, it's not like that. Our guard's not an issue.
He's not going to take on that shot. He's going to play the run back here. If you're going to play this, you absolutely have to make it, in my opinion. If you don't, I don't know how you're going to get in there to score.
I'm kind of expecting him to make some contact.
If you do make it, you get rid of the yellow stone, clear the center off a bit. It certainly gives you some breathing room. It's going to go with the in turn here. We've seen it curl a hair. Normally very straight with big weight though. First stone for Jacobson in the 4th end. Currently trailing Team Koe 2-1. And again, the over curl. Now he's totally cut off the out turn path, and I don't think his red rock is usable. Yeah, I really didn't like that call. I mean, if he makes it, it's fine.
This one you can sweep with the top 12, it's not the worst, right?
Just top him.
That looks like a bit more, isn't it? Yeah, I like the same ice.
Kevin doesn't even have to be as precise with this guard because the red one that Jason just threw is sort of blocking his path already on that side. Gives Kevin a little more leeway to over curl.
Okay, Kev, same weight.
So yeah, don't be afraid if he's calling you for line if you're like top 12.
This one doesn't have to be as tight to the rings either, because again, it's already guarded on the one side. All about the line.
Go a little less, I got.
Hard early, he said.
Line's better. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Get a little spinner.
Whoa.
Tight guard. We need help. BJ or me?
Always BJ. Get off this guard.
We need to rub that guard.
Wow. Real fortunate there. You heard BJ say a little bit of a spinner, which means he had more rotation, which means the rock is going to take longer to get into its breaking point.
It was a different throw.
But that took a dramatically different path than Kevin's first. They're fortunate to get that rub, or they wouldn't have guarded any of this stone. Even with the rub, there is a piece available. Although I'm glad Jason's throwing it and I'm not. This is a very tough shot. Facing two counters. But he does have an opportunity to score. The peels are curling a little bit here. I'm not sure if they're darting them in a little bit, but they're getting some curl out of the peels. So you expect with a softer weight shot, it should certainly curl. Chat group has gone dead.
For sure. Yeah.
I think everybody had a little too much Thanksgiving dinner tonight. Huge shot here. Final rock of the fourth end. Jason Jacobson looking to tie up this contest with Team Koe. In turn tap. Very precise shot. Trying to carve it. It's got more weight than I thought he'd have for sure. And he was able to make it and redirect into the wing. I believe he scores 1. And at the end of 4, we have a tie ball game, 2 apiece. We'll be back for the second half of the C final on Koe-Tube from Swift Current right after this break.
Got a couple Canadian Angus tomahawks we're grilling up tonight.
Pretty much salt and pepper mix. So we're going to healthily season this.
Nothing crazy, no sauce.
30 minutes. We'll give this 30 minutes to kind of penetrate that meat for it to absorb it.
Now the trick to these is to cook them really hot and flip them regularly. So we're gonna get them on here to start. We got her at about 600 degrees right now. Can a good looking, hard working chef get a beer around here?
There we go, Skipper.
Thank you, sir. Gonna take them off, let them sit for a few minutes. Then we'll be ready to go.
Final step, and maybe the best step, enjoying wonderful a meal with great friends. Cheers, fellas.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, Benny boy. Shoot it.
We are back live from Swift Current's brand new event on the tour. 2014 triple knockout for $50,000 purse. We're down to our final 10 teams. 6 have already qualified for the playoffs. The winner of our game here tonight advances. That was a double for 2. I was obviously completely blocked out. But a great shot by Jacobson. Really unfortunate miss by Kevin. He'd love to have that guard back. If he puts a guard on perfectly, they lock up a steal. And the other game going on Dunstone has control right now versus Matsamira. Winner of that game also advances to the playoffs. Dunstone leading 5-1. Huge turn of events there in the fourth. Really not sure what happened other than Kevin just threw a different stone on his guard there.
It's a little light.
Yep.
Yeah, we can go.
Mine's good.
Hard or wait. Hard or wait. Come on, you gotta go on this one.
Keep going. Keep going.
I can go.
Come on, Beach. Every inch. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it
Great scrub there by Beach. Ben knew he was light. Able to drag it into the 12. I'm not sure too much of it's buried though. Maybe half.
What do you got, a third? Sorry? No, I don't.
They're going to ignore that stone, throw a high center guard here, guarding their rock in the 8-foot. They'd love to be able to peel that corner. Obviously, they can't with the 5-rock rule.
Yep. Yep, for line.
So an out-turn guard here for Jake.
Just let her stop then.
Probably sliding quite a bit deeper than what they'd hoped.
Yep, get him right this.
They wanted that about 8 feet higher, 6 feet higher. The way it's lined up, I think if Kevin played the double peel, it goes right into the yellow. So they're going to play the in-turn run back instead. John's throwing about 30 of these this weekend. Stuff that, but it's okay. Yellow rock. Not staggered, short guard. They can use that on the next one. Really looking just to set up the end right now. Jason's content throwing another high guard here, hoping that Koe has to waste a few stones throwing peels. It's always good if you're winning the game and the team you're beating is the one throwing the peels. That guard's in a very good spot, super high. Makes it way harder to run it back. John's going to come down here, take a look. They could go red onto red onto red, kill all the reds. That'd be a very hard shot, but John's capable.
I like this. What do you like, Ace? Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that out. You're out across the face or whatever. I like the end too. The end just a little early.
John's coming off a mixed doubles victory with his new mixed doubles partner, Rachel Homan. Won the event in Banff. Outturn triple attempt here. Wow, what an attempt. Great shot just to kill the two guards. That was excellent. Don't know if Jason can afford to guard that now. It leaves a pretty short in-turn slash for BJ, and they've already got one loss behind 2 yellows. So sometimes your best guard is second shot. Just a matter of where to put it, really. No matter where they put it, if it's in that 4-foot area, that yellow guard's looking pretty tasty to run back for Team Koe.
Just above. Okay? Here? You don't like that? Good? Okay. We go this way?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the runner, if it's, especially if it's tighter. Yeah, on the one he's throwing.
Curl it. Yep. Gotta go. Yep. Gotta go. Hard. Hard. Keep it moving. Hard, 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 hard. Yep. 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 Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like just to the hack. Try and nose it. What? Just
Guard did not curl up enough. BJ has access to the back stone with hack. I was gone for a second there. I never know if you can hear me or not. Sometimes the feed just cuts out. But again, my man, Mr. Wu, got me back in business here. Soft shot here for BJ. Real opportunity for Koe. They need to get a 2 here. Make up for what happened last end.
Whoa. 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 Off. Whoa. Not yet. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Yep. Ready. Whoa. Off. Go, 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 go. Go, go.
Great shot. Really well managed. Right on the nose like they called. So Jason is going to have Dustin follow BJ down. Exact same shot.
Yeah, it felt hard to me when I picked it.
Needs to stay here. Can't afford to roll out. Rolls out. Koe's got the draw around everything. Potential 3-ender. Good shot. Nice weight control as well. You could see just barely killed that through the ring, so he probably had perfect hack weight. BJ needs to replicate his first throw here.
Whoa, guys. Whoa, we're further out. Whoa. Benny. Gotta go. Keep going hard. Gotta go. Push it. Hard.
Whoa.
Hard. Keep going.
Roll it the other way.
Just enough weight to kill that one after some carving. Koe lies 2. This is the key shot at the end now so far. Hit and roll opportunity for Jason. And he's got the whole world to roll behind, basically from the edge of the button all the way to the edge of the 8. Good 4.5, 5 feet of cover. Needs to make this shot. This is the kind of shot you're playing a team the caliber of Koe. You've got a 1-point lead after a great double. You need to make another one here. If he was just to nose this, the yellow counter will be shot stone and Kevin will draw around the works. And again, a 3-unders in play. Key on this shot, don't throw it too hard. Let your sweepers get involved. Such a factor in the game now with directional sweeping. They're working hard trying to hold this one. Rolls to a perfect spot. Shot stone buried behind the world. No way for Koe to get at that. Great shot. Obviously done too many games. Great shot. But still an opportunity here for Koe. They can draw around this center. Get a miss. Put a 2 back up on the board themselves. The only downside here is the run back can be made and it's a red stone. Nothing you can do about that though.
Weight's really good. We're all there.
They like the weight, if anything heavy.
Watch it coming in. Watch it coming in.
Need it to stop. Great draw by Kevin. Left enough room to fit another one in the 4-foot as well. Curled enough, it makes the out-turn run back difficult. It's actually easier to make with the in-turn, because then the rock would take the out-turn that you're driving back and curl into the stone. But they're gonna, I think this is a sensible call here to play the freeze. If they make it, Kevin will have to go out wider and draw around this rock that's about to be thrown to try to pick up his 2 points. Doesn't have to actually go all the way to Kevin Stone. He could just sort of block the path to the 4-foot. That would be effective as well. Quote Bob Uecker in Major League, just a bit outside. That got nowhere near the line they wanted. Might have taken a hair too much ice and just got in a straighter path there because his weight was good. That rock's not really in the way. Fairly open draw here for Kevin. He needs full 8-foot plus. A bite of a 4-foot would do it. Get the 2 points they gave up last end back. Final rock of the 5th, the IG Wealth Management Western Showdown.
Weight's good.
They like the weight out of his hands.
Clean it. Line's good.
Line's good.
It's a little heavy.
Two nice draws by Kevin. They take the lead back, heading to the 6th end. They'll be up 4-3 in this do or die battle in the Seaside. We'll be back from Swift Current on Koe-Tube after this commercial break.
All right, we're here at the Chesimir Golf Course, Ben's home track. We got
We're back for the 6th end here. Men's C-Qualifier from Swift Currents. That commercial break brought to you by ATB Financial. Been doing business in Alberta since 1938. They provide financial services to over 770,000 Alberta residents and businesses. That commercial always cracks me up, because it's exactly how things would happen. And I'm not sure if you noticed, we talked about it, but Benny's backswing is actually shorter than Kevin and BJ's hair. It's unbelievable. He's got to do some yoga, lengthen that swing, get some yardage going. So a huge bounce back end there for Team Koe. Put 2 on the board, a skips deuce, 2 great draws by Kevin. Still a very good spot for Jacobson. Having the hammer, playing the even ends here. Even if they got forced to 1, it's 2 hammers each, or 1 hammer each left. A steal here would be ideal for Koe. Can update you, there's a blank in the 5th. Dunstone leads Matsumaira 5-3. Dunstone has the hammer. So they're definitely in control of that game, looking to punch their ticket into the playoffs. Daryl McKee, the 2002 Grand Slam Masters champion, won that title with Bruce Corte.
I still was all the way on this side of center.
That one almost got away from them. They wanted to carve it, then they actually had to straighten it. Killed the rock, not quite out of the rings, rolled a shooter in the hole. It's accessible for Johnny here.
Are you throwing board or are you throwing hack? You want to throw board, throw board.
John looking to play the hit and roll here. Quiet weight with his intern.
Hard! Hard! Hard, Beach! Hard! Kenny, the red one, the red one, the red one.
Probably a hair lighter than what they wanted, but did the job. Rolled out in the open, though. It's been a well-curled game by both teams. Huge double made in the fourth end by Jason Jacobson for 2. Then he made a great hit and roll in 5 on his first. But an unfortunate miss on his second allowed Koe to draw in for 2, and that brings us to where we are right now. Jake Hersey-Korn looking to play the hit and roll himself now with the out turn. This looks close. Not quite, though. Did make the double. These rocks are a little less lively than what you see in the arena. We saw that last night, or yeah, it was last night, I guess, when Koe played Dunstone. Kevin had made that double, hit it absolutely perfectly to win the game, and the rock that he ricocheted into didn't go anywhere. I was shocked, as were the players on the ice, including Dunstone's team. In an arena, that rock would have flown out of the building. Still a decent situation here for both teams. There's a center guard up for Koe, so still an opportunity to steal. But not really in a position to steal as the Rocks sit right now, so that'll make Jacobson happy. I like that they're getting aggressive here. Instead of hitting this rock, they decided to draw around their corner. They'd love to get the lead back here. Koe wouldn't hate a blank. This is looking a little speedy. It's going to stop in the rings, but for second shots. I think it's gettable with the intern if they want.
Like, I don't even know that sticking does you much. So what do you have?
Yeah, I got about a third.
What?
I got a third. Looks to me like if you don't want to stick around. Yeah, I know. So like just board.
Oh, I like board. I like at least. I like board.
Okay, board weight.
You don't need to throw any less. It'll come up good out here.
So board weight, you can see about a third of the stone. We've seen there's some late finish in this spot for sure.
Yep.
Ben's on it early, trying to hold the line.
Yep. Whoa, whoa.
Real close.
Clean. Yep, yep.
Hard.
Hard, hard. You gotta go. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go.
Not sure if that stayed in the rings or not. I don't think they mind if it rolled out. Again, the blank would probably be more beneficial here to Koe than Jacobson statistically. Out-turn draw here for Dustin Kaltoff. Canadian mixed doubles champion.
Line's okay. Line's good.
I think this one has better weight than the previous.
Yeah. Whoa. Curl.
Wow, that really got away from him. The weight was spot on. Not sure if that grabbed or if it was just that much difference in curl due to the fact that he had about 8 less feet of weight than the previous stone.
Yeah, that's no further. I mean, if you're right beside it and he comes into it, he's wide open, but just fighting it top 8.
Outturn draw now for BJ. Opportunity to put some pressure on. A steal would be huge here. Boys are going to come down. This is the first real discussion they've had in this game that I can remember. It's pretty crucial where you leave this rock. Don't want to leave it in a position where they can make a double and be buried. Their rock that's in the top 8 is not in a great spot, actually, for Koe. It's in a nice spot for Jacobson to use it. While they talk about this, I can let you know that Team Jones scored 2 in the 4th. There's a blank in the 5th. They lead Homan 4-2. Rachel with the hammer in 6.
I mean, you could go right to the button.
In the other big game, nothing but singles.
I do think
2-1 for Fleury over Anderson playing 7. Anderson with the hammer. Kelsey Rock is battling Tabitha Peterson as well. That game is tied at 3. Kelsey with the hammer playing 6. Brand new team this year for Kelsey. Tabitha is a great team out of the U.S. And then their other C-Qualifier, Sinclair versus Sturmey. Sinclair just stole one in the 5th to take a 3-2 lead. Sturmey with the hammer in 6. Back to our action. Outturn draw here for BJ.
Definitely got room.
You got some room, but line's good.
Where are you going for weight?
Has to curl.
Penny. No, leave it. That's good.
So that's not all the way buried. So if a double's made, Koe will have access to the stone.
Makes the double. Yeah, makes the double on the other one, then you're rolling.
Well,
Yeah.
we either just double this or roll over here.
And it's still available for the tap. If he makes it through.
Yeah. You like this?
Potential shot they're calling as they hit and roll off the outside. Again, you better make it if you're going to call it. If you don't, and you roll out, Team Koe would be able to tap up that rock that BJ just threw in behind the world.
It's going to touch this one.
It's a good aggressive call if you can make it.
Still want this?
You can see the danger, though. Say you play this hit and roll and you roll out. Kevin can come down right to the nose of the one BJ just threw. There's tons of space. Tap it to the button. His rock will be partially buried. That would spell a lot of trouble for Jacobson. Big shot here for Dustin Kaltoff, third stone. Playing the outturn, hit and roll. Trying to carve it. Hangs around for second shot. Interesting situation for Kevin. He's thinking of the tap. He could obviously just hit the open ones, a conservative call.
I'm wondering if you just rip it out. He chases and we try a roll. Like I don't see anywhere good rolling here.
No, you can't go in and. Okay, you can't roll into the top of ours, eh, bit? Okay.
I mean,
It's gonna be.
I don't see him not chasing you.
His nose not good then?
Or he might, if I hang it on, he might try that roll.
Yeah, we draw.
Decided to go with the hit.
I mean, I don't mind this. This is pretty smart.
I mean, if we're up one, that's pretty good. We need a few on road.
Again, Kevin doesn't mind the force here for sure. Hate giving up 2. So limiting this redstone goes a long way to preventing that. Small little backswing. He just peels that rock out of there. Team Jacobson immediately going up and signaling the tap. They could tap it on the nose for shot rock. They could tap it a hair high side, bump it in behind the 2 yellow stones.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. It's like a third, right? Oh yeah, it's bigger than a little bit. A quarter goes pops up.
Wow, gone. Lost you for a brief second, but we're back now. You're going to go with the intern tap here. Very aggressive call, but I like it. Be huge for them to put 2 points on the board here. First stone of the 6th for Skip, Jason Jacobson. They went with the raised takeout, not the tap. Might get lucky on the back here. Wow. It's a good shot with a little bit of good luck as well. Benny's probably busting his balls a little bit there. Chops. Busting his chops. So an excellent result. Kevin is going to try to draw around his own center. Key is to get this one buried. Again, 2 is not a great situation for Koe here. Love to be able to force, or if he can sink one underneath and get a miss. Have that 2-point lead heading to 7. Look where that rock rolled to. That is a very fortunate spot. So outturn draw here for Kevin. 1 point lead right now. Last rock, 6th end.
Gotta go.
Hey, take a look.
Light out of the hand. The heads are down. Looks better now. As a skip, you like to see him stop sweeping like that. Yeah, whoa at the end indicates exactly what it is. It's perfect. Great draw there by Kevin. Very well swept by the guys. Maybe chaseable, but it's not easy. He's going to go at it with the in. Most curlers, their in turn curls more than their out. This is a spot as well where we've seen those peels. They tried a couple peel weight run backs. They curled. So there's definitely some finish in this spot. Really got to earn it though. A great shot by Kevin. Let's see if Jason can answer. If he does, they'll take the lead to the 7th. Huge final stone. 6th end, in-turn tap back. Jason Jacobson looking to take the lead against Koe in the C-Qualifier. Spot in the playoffs on the line. They're on it out of his hands. Now they're trying to carve it. Looks real close.
Go, Kev, go! Go!
It's a race now in terms of sweeping, and it looks like it is 1 yellow. Looks like a steal of 1 for Team Koe. They take a 5-3 lead, a huge steal. We'll be back for the 7th end from Swift Current, the IG Wealth Management Western Showdown after this commercial break.
All right, we are here at the Hearing Loss Clinic in Calgary. Start of our season, brand new team. We're making sure we're getting our hearing tested so we're ready to roll. Whitney's been doing a fantastic job. And for some reason, we got Benny in the booth. Apparently he's the guy that has the most trouble listening on the team. So Benny Heaves in the booth, getting his hearing checked first, and we'll be ready to rock the ice this year thanks to the Hearing Loss Clinic. Kev's getting some hearing aids here. The oldest guy on the team, apparently they want to make sure he's ready for after playing with us, with me calling line after a year. He's going to need some hearing aids because I'm going to be yelling a little too loud. So they're getting them all doctored up here.
Should help a lot.
We're back for the 7th end. Men's C-Qualifier on Koe-Tube, Swift Current, Saskatchewan. Winner of this game moves on to the quarterfinals. The loser goes home. Huge steal of 1 there. Great draw by Kevin Koe on his last. An excellent attempt by Jason Jacobson, but he couldn't quite squeeze out the Koe stone. So a 2-point lead here, playing the 7th for Koe.
for, Benny.
This end, Kevin would love a force. He doesn't hate giving up 2. Have that hammer tied up coming home would be a very good position. I think they'd rather give up 2 than a blank. Depends on the team. The stats are real close on that one. In our other C-Qualifier, Dunstone scored a single in the 6th to take a 6-3 lead over Matsamura. Matsamura with the hammer. Good draw there by Ben, mostly buried, just short of the 4-foot.
Shot, Ben.
Jason's going to have Daryl, reigning Canadian senior champion, play the out-turn freeze, follow Ben down. Literally just gave the score in the Dunstone game. It's 6-3 for Dunstone. Just tap that back in behind the tee. Dunstone looks like he's freezing. He's got his winter jacket on out there. Megan beat me to the punch on the Jones score. Jones now leading Homan 6-2. Homan's lucky to be alive. In her last game, the woman she was playing just had to draw the rings to eliminate her and threw a rock that's still going.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I like this.
So Rachel was able to squeak it out in an extra. Can tell you that the game times for tomorrow, winner of this game plays at 9 a.m. Great little short run back there by John. 9 a.m. quarterfinals, 1 p.m. semifinals, 5 p.m. final.
Yeah, I was with you, and you've thrown a lot of run back, so. Sure.
Fleury has the hammer coming home, tied at 2 with Anderson. That's an elimination game. Big 2-ender by Kelsey Rock leads Peterson 5-3. And another steal by Jamie Sinclair. They lead Sturmay 4-2. Jake with a nice draw, buried around the center. Run back is available for John.
That's what I was thinking.
I mean, this would be pretty good too.
They're not going to play it though.
It's a little harder now. You can't really hit it into there.
Kevin's initial thought was to draw into the pocket. Just corner that red one.
Never missing that. Run it back. I just like firm.
Switch to the run back. John just made it. This one they're trying to get BJ to carve. Carved it just enough. Lost one of their own, but a good shot. Still a chance here for Jacobson. Draw around this. Koe has to peel the guard. You go around the center. Koe hits the open one. You go around the center again. You have a chance to pick up 3.
Well, with Seal, he still has a guard to go around.
Mine's good. Little room. Whoa, got a curl.
Last stone here for Jake Hersecorn. Had a great junior career out of Saskatchewan. Now I'm looking to make his mark in men's. Slides fairly deep, but it's fully buried. Because of the depth, though, it's chaseable by BJ.
Yeah, just through.
Fairly gradual here. Hard. Whoa. Yep. Yep. Hard. Hard. Whoa. Whoa. No. No. John.
Nice weight control there.
Whoa. Whoa. No.
Hit some rolls away from the guard, which is good. If he nosed it and stayed right back there, the freeze was available. Switching tactics now, no longer going around the corner. Jason's going to draw around the center guard here.
Yep. Bit. Okay, line's a hair tight. Line's a bit tight. It's gonna over curl. Just let it stop.
They need this to stop. Perfect spot. Nice weight. They're worried about it coming out the other side. Stop just in time. Nice draw there by Dustin.
Now you gotta run it, I think, right? Yeah. Hope it doesn't.
Looking like a run back here for BJ.
I mean, if you're
So he just threw a soft one. Now he's got to throw the fastball.
throw it to nose.
Dead nose hit. Can make this, but still get unlucky in the back with a couple of jams. They got to be careful. Hope luck is on their side.
Yep. Whoa. Ben.
Yeah, that worked out very well. Nice throw by BJ. Three rocks to come here. There's still a chance at a blank end if they want. They can make the double here. Bring the blank back into play. Wouldn't be the end of the world to have the hammer coming home down 2.
Well, you have to roll to here if we're making the roll. Oh, and don't make the double? Okay.
I think the double's probably the shot.
All right. You like for that control?
Double keeps the blank alive. You'd hate to get forced to 1 here. That'd be a disaster. Jake sweeping hard here, trying to hold the line. Missed the double, did not get the roll, so a real opportunity here for Kevin. He'll look to throw a little board weight, hit and roll behind the center guard, I think. This is a spot that we've seen rocks run a little bit straighter if you pump the weight up. Just got to be careful with that. He's able to kill this stone. Worst case, he'll be tied up coming home with the hammer. If he makes a good roll here, be in a position to steal or at least force. BJ threw one down here 2 rocks ago. They know exactly what it does.
Heavy control. Heavy. Oh, it's heavy. Heavy. Yep.
Good roll. It just actually spun out. It was going to be perfectly buried. Did a little reverse spin. So it's showing at least half a stone, I would say. Still a great roll by Kevin. Mandatory now for Jason to make his in turn hit and roll behind his own guard here, the corner guard. Dunstone forced Matsamira in the 7th. He leads 6-4, coming home with the hammer. Great position to be in. Looks like they'll be off to the playoffs. First stone here in 7 for Skip Jason Jacobson. In turn, hit and roll. Oh, beauty. What a shot when he needed it. Doesn't make that roll. He's looking like getting forced. Excellent shot. Last few ends, he's made that skinny double in 5 to score. Or in 4 to score 2. Made a great roll in 5. Now he's made another roll here. I don't think Kevin can kill that red one. I don't think he has any of it. So he might just ignore it, draw around a 4-foot like he did last end. It's not a bad play. Draw to the 4-foot. If you get in there perfectly buried, you probably force or steal. If you don't, they get 2. You have the hammer coming home. They're talking about potentially making a play on the rock in the 8-foot. The big thing is they don't have to kill it. They have to move it far enough that they lie 2. But then if they do that, does their shooter spin off and set up a double for 2? I like the draw myself, but this will come down to whatever Kevin wants to play, I think. He likes the draw as well. He just made a beauty. needs to make another one here. He puts this in the right spot, and Jason will be forced to play the in-turn slash on his last. He will not draw for one. He will definitely take on the risk of the slash. You can see that corner guard. He'll be angling that back. One doesn't do him any good here. Kevin Koe, out-turn draw attempt. Needs to perfectly bury this behind his yellow.
Just bite the 4. Doesn't need a curl. Yeah, it's gonna overcurl. No. Gotta stop for weight.
He needed to stop for line.
Bite the 4, line 3. Don't lose it.
I think it's perfect again. Wow. It's don't have a great angle on it right now.
I should have just taken a little more because Ben threw middle of 12 right angle. Whatever we need to do.
There it is. Yeah, it's perfectly buried. I shouldn't say perfect. There is just a hair showing. This is a similar shot to what Jason made in the 4th for 2. The difference is he had a catcher in that end. He was able to throw a little more weight. This is a far dicier prospect, in my opinion. What a great draw by Kevin. He's come up with some big shots here. Jason, let's see if he's got one more. Final rock of the 7th end. Sort of let that one go a little lazy, trying to get it to curl. Carve it. He makes that for fun. What a shot. I don't know, though, that it outcounts the back. They may have wanted to check that out before they threw. It's one for sure. I mean, he could not have made that any better. So if it's not 2, they obviously played the wrong shot. What a throw. I mean, he made that easy. Could have our first measure that I can remember. This is the 7th game we've done here on Koe-Tube. I don't think we've had a measure yet. Whether it's 1 or 2, that was just a great curling shot by Jason. Well swept by the team. Had to hold it straight, then carve it over. Fun fact here, I've never measured a curling stone in my life. I've been involved in a lot of measures. I always let the other person measure. That way if something goes wrong and the rock gets burnt, it's on them, it's not on me. So I don't really even know how to measure a stone. Looks like it's yellow. Anyway, it looked like yellow. We'll see when we come back for the final end here. Team Koe in a battle with Team Jacobson. A spot in the quarterfinals on the line. We'll be back to Swift Current on Koe-Tube after this commercial break. So it appears to be a single. We're back here for possibly the final end of this men's C-Qualifier in Swift Currents. The winner advances to the quarterfinals tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. local time. Koe leading 5-4. I'd like to give out a shout out to a few of their sponsors. The Hearing Loss Clinic, established in 1993, 8 locations across South Alberta, providing better quality of life for people every day. Brandt Tractor, over 85 years in business. They're the largest privately held John Deere dealership in the world, 56 locations in Canada, coast to coast. They've been with the guys for 3 years. Brand new sponsor, PointsBet online sports booking. Australia's fastest growing online bookmaker has now come to Canada. Avrotechnic, Peter Schweller is a great friend of the team. He's been with them for 8 years. Twin Anchors, 3rd year with the team. Todd Killio, curler himself, curls out of BC. And then Hardline and 40 Creek. And I got to be honest, after 7 games in 3 days, I could use a shot or two of 40 Creek right now. I don't know about you guys. You're on the edge of your seats here, seeing if Koe can get this done. A great tick shot by Ben to open up the 8th end. Needs one more tick here. Makes things a lot easier the rest of the way.
A little lighter. Little less weight. What? Little less weight.
This looks good. Looks really good. Oh, great 2 stones there by Ben. Center line wide open. Both draws accessible.
Pretty good.
You can make fun of his golf swing all you want, but he can curl. We'll give him that. I mean, he couldn't play anywhere but lead, but he's a very good lead. That takes a little wind out of the sails for Team Jacobson. They played great tonight, but those 2 tick shots are killers when you need the steal. Team Koe will go into full peel mode here the rest of the way.
Line's good.
They're dead frozen.
Line's really good. Yep. 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 Still line. Keep it going. Keep it
Great draw there by Jake Hersey-Korn.
This is in the neighborhood. Good run where you throw it.
Kevin's looking for John to make a potential triple here. Red on the red, roll the shooter over to the rock Jake just threw. Love to get rid of one of the 2 red ones in the rings here. No easy task, though. Unless you're John Morris, and then you get rid of both of them. What a great shot. What an end so far for Team Koe. Tick, tick, triple. How are we doing? Again, now a super tough spot for Jacobson. They're going to try to go underneath the guard. John will just rip the simple double peel.
No more room.
I might take you up on that offer, Bruce. I'm going to see if I can come out for Banff. The guys are playing in Banff after the Olympic trials, the ATB Financial Banff Classic. Another nice stone there. Just a little wick off of the Koe stone. Like I thought, they'll just go up, play the simple double peel here, open things up. Worst case right now, Kevin's going to have an open hit and stay to win the game. This shot is much simpler than John's first.
Hard. Gotta go, Ben. Hard. Hard, Deej. You gotta roll this. Roll it.
Shot, John.
Uh-oh. I just got word that Jamie Cooey is also playing in Banff. That could be a dangerous trip for me now. I haven't seen Jamie since we were roommates at the Curl for Kids. We had just the one that night, I think. Might have been two. Gonna come down, have a little chat here about what to do. I wouldn't worry too much about Cooey's yellow shot rock. Way too early to be concerned about that. I think you have to throw the corner guard back up here. Protect that red one in the rings.
Wherever he puts it. Oh, for sure.
You make a play on the yellow this early. You're just asking for BJ to make a double and end the game. So yeah, I like this call. Dunstone game must be a final by now. It's not showing that on Curling Zone yet. In the women's, it's a final. Jones over Holman. Fleury with a single knocks out Anderson. Sinclair over Sturmey. And then it got a little bit ugly for Kelsey Rock. They gave up 2 and 7. Had the hammer coming home, gave up a steal of 2 and 8. Tabitha Peterson and her team move on. Kelsey Rock is eliminated. Nice guard there by Dustin. BJ will look to peel that off. There they go, leaving the ice. Good run by Matsamura, young team out of Japan, but the win goes to Team Dunstone. They advance. Congratulations to their team. Still looking for that invite to be their 5th for the trials. My elk brother, Braden Muscowie. Good peel there by BJ. I think they have to throw the guard up again. They put it up again. BJ will peel it. Then you probably freeze the shot rock. Kevin will blast that out. You draw, you split the rings, and you hope that Kevin misses the draw or rolls out on the hit.
Mine's good. Straight. Straight. Over curling the last one a bit. Yep.
Good guard there. Another peel here from BJ.
Ben. Hard, you gotta go.
Hard, hard, hard.
No mistake by BJ. His job is done. It's now down to the skipper. Don't think you can throw another guard now. I think that's the ice for the outturn freeze, although it looks like a ton of ice. They have not posted on curling zone who plays who in the quarters yet. So I'm not sure if the guys hold on to win this one, who they're going to get. They're coming out of the C side, as is Dunstone. So they'll both be playing someone who came out of the A side. So if they've done the draw properly, they will either play Jacobs, Tardy, or Hartung. Same with Dunstone. He'll play one of those three teams as well. Way things have been going this weekend, I would predict they play Jacobs. Since he's the best team, it just makes sense. That's a great freeze. Potential game ender here, though, for Kevin. If he can play the out turn, smash this rock sideways. Shooter goes on to the other red one. He'd kill both reds. That would essentially end it. He'd have an open hit, wouldn't have to stay on his last. I think you're going to see the high heater on this one. Fairly controlled. I mean, he's got those calves. He doesn't have to throw it too hard with his arm. There you go. Everything goes away, and that's the ball game. One more rock each to come. But that essentially ends it. Koe will be moving on to the quarterfinals. 7 games and close to 21 hours of curling so far. But a huge relief for the guys. They really grinded. They were up and down the first 4 games. They battled back. A 3-game day today. Got down after 4 ends in this game, but some key draws by Kevin. Kevin made some great draws to pull this one out of the hat. 2 biggies in the 5th, another one in the 6th, another one in the 7th. Benny making the ticks coming home. John ran the triple. BJ made his peels. Great team game here. Jason will try to just throw this one anywhere in the rings and hope for a miracle. Boys, giving her right to the end. Scrub that one in. Put this broom somewhere near the middle of the rock. Kevin will throw the out-turn heater down there. So as I mentioned, the game will be 9 a.m. local time tomorrow. Quarterfinal matchup. Again, it should be against Tardy, Hartung, or Jacobs. Final shot, 8th end, Kevin Koe. Open hit for the win. Doesn't have to stay. And there it is. Koe advances to the quarterfinals. Congratulations to Jason Jacobson and his team. They had a great run, but in the end, Kevin was just too much. Congratulations to Team Koe. Thank you to the fans for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. local time, quarterfinal action on Koe-Tube from the IG Wealth Management Western Showdown. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving and have a great night.